What's up, guys? Summer is here. I can't believe we're in month number 6 of 2023. And today's market update, I'm going to be real with you. Real estate is going really well for some agents out there, and some agents are struggling, just like for the buyers and sellers. Some buyers and sellers are out there. Some buyers are out there absolutely crushing it, take advantage of opportunities, finding great deals. Others are competing in multiple offer situations, and others are waiting on the sidelines. We're going to talk about all that, how it affects buyers, sellers, Denver and the suburbs real estate market update next. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane, living in the Denver suburbs, your Colorado real estate resource with eXp Realty. Happy to help any of my viewers, any of my subscribers absolutely navigate this absolutely crazy bonkers market. Some people are having great success, others are not, and I would love to be a resource for you. I always tell my clients, when it's the right time to buy, it's the right time for you. It has nothing to do with the market. I just love giving you the stats and finding, opportunities in the market, and that's what I love to do for my people. So if you're interested in a buyer consultation or thinking about buying or know someone that is, I would love to talk with you and help understand the market and where it's going and how it would affect you and where that opportunity lies. So book a call with the Calendly link below and let's get into it. While you're here, like, comment, subscribe, and let's go. Okay, so first things first, the big debt ceiling crisis seems to be averted. And what they do, they just decided to kick the can further down the road. At some point, that's going to be a problem. But for now, the political rivalry continues to clash. Winners and losers of all sorts. We're just continuing to push that debt ceiling, break through that debt ceiling, and go from there. I always say real estate doesn't have a ceiling. Apparently neither does the debt crisis in our country. So eventually we're gonna have to deal with it. And the more we put it down the road, it's gonna be an issue. Not saying that defaulting was the best option. However, at some point it's gonna come to a pretty serious situation, and we'll let that go from there. So if you're watching some of my videos on that, talking about, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna default? What's that mean? The country's inability to pay off bonds and things when they're due is massive of importance. That has to do with the entire economy, all the, GDP and all the consumer indexes and all of the things, including the real estate market. And ultimately it has an effect on the interest rates. So the fact that we didn't default and, all of that means that the interest rates have kind of stabled off a little bit. They did break into the 7s in the month of May. That is what it is. Keep in mind, interest rates that people are throwing out are, averages or best case scenarios. I'm not a mortgage lender, but it is important to know kind of about where it's at, for those perfect situations. And as you know, once you get into that, it has a whole lot to do with your credit and all of that. But the economy does play a role and moves that minimum par number a ton, and that's what we like to talk about. The immediate reaction to this, the interest rates cresting 7 again, every single week in the month of May, the mortgage applications went down, meaning that less buyers are coming into the market. Speaking of buyers, let's kind of talk about that. There's buyers that are waiting on the sidelines, just waiting for some certainty. The problem with that is it's a fallacy in thinking, because they think certainty means lower rates and then they're ready to come out in the market. Well, there's a bunch of other people that are waiting for that certainty. And so what happens is when that interest rate dips, a little bit, or they see that negative trend, they're going to jump into the market because they know ownership is better than renting. And when that happens, there's going to be an influx of buyers into the market. What's that going to do, especially with our impacted inventory and our very small amount of inventory that we have? Well, that's going to make it gobbled up pretty quickly, but also it's going to raise the prices. So as I always say on here, when the interest rates go down, the prices go up, and you're still paying the same thing every single month, right? Versus, when there's less buyers, when there's scarcity out there, buyers waiting on the sidelines, if you're able to get into something and find a deal, that's absolutely an opportunity as a buyer, no matter where you're at, to take advantage of that, lock in the interest rate. If it dips, you can refinance. If it goes up, you're locked in at that low interest rate. So definitely something to consider, especially if you're considering these ARMs and all of that. Those run with a little more risk. There is no certainty that the interest rates will go down. However, we'll touch on that and what the economy and inflation can do to that as we move forward later into 2023. So that's kind of the report from the buyers. What's it mean for the sellers? Sellers are also waiting for a little bit of certainty, right? It's really hard. And I had a seller close a transaction just this month, very into May actually. So it was last month technically. And she was visibly like, okay, I'm literally signing away to pay off my mortgage. It has a 2.75 interest rate. She's like, I hope this isn't, a mistake. At the end of the day, I said, in your life situation, where you're at, this is part of your goal to leverage this, pull out, realize that appreciation, turn your equity from monopoly money into real money. And it is what it is. It is hard, right? I visibly saw it. Someone who was very smart, had a plan, was ready to go, was like, oh, am I making the right decision? Right? Because she's giving away a 2.75 interest rate, an interest rate we probably will never ever see again, especially as a par rate, not buying down rates. So the sellers likewise are like, okay, what's this mean? I can't move up because, that interest rate, moving up a price point is going to be really expensive because not only am I moving up a price point, I'm going up 4 or 5 points in interest rate, which is massive considering just 18 months ago we were in the 2s and 3s, right? And so that's a major step up. So not only is it a whole price point up, and a higher mortgage, it's also a 5 points on an interest rate that's pretty massive. So that's something to really take in, but sellers are just going to wait, right? Sellers are happy. They can improve their home. They can do a HELOC or something if they really need to access their equity, but if not, they're good. And if they absolutely have to move, it's a strong consideration to hold on to that 2.5, 2.75, 3% interest rate and turn it into a rental because the cash flow is so there, because the rents are really based on, what the interest rates are now. Right? Those investors getting in now are still making cash flow based on, what they purchased, in their interest rate and their monthly payment. It's still cash flow opportunities, very much less than they used to be. But if you consider the cash flow opportunity for getting in a long time ago and, turning that into a rental, it's absolutely an opportunity. So the truth is inventory is not going to come back for a long time, right? Builders can't build fast enough and sellers have to actually flex those muscles to sell a home with such low interest rates, because there is that economic gain and that opportunity, which is what I tell people all the time in real estate. You have options. And if you have options and you have to move and you can turn it into a rental, and some people can cash flow on a house they've owned for 10 years with a low interest rate that they refinanced when it was really low. They can cash flow the amount that they're going to move up into that next mortgage, not to put down, 20% or whatever. So you have to understand, how people are playing this market and what's going on. The truth is inventory is king right now. And unless you're at a life point to cash out, it does make a lot of sense to hold that rental, continue to see the appreciation, hopefully not the 20% a year, because that caused this problem. But, at least we'll see some appreciation as we go, as real estate on average goes up 6% in the Denver area. So then it comes to, is your agent still serving you? Is your agent still the right person to help you buy or sell a home? I work hard every single month, as evidenced by this video, to understand what the market is. And the honest truth is some people call me and say, hey, Jeremy, we're looking to move. What should we do? I'm going to say, hey, what's your interest rate? Does it make sense for you to hold this as a rental? Because this is the situation. And if they say yes, absolutely, we're going to get creative. We're going to get you into your new home. You can still make that move, but that changes your financial trajectory forever, right? Because now we're having 2 homes appreciate, someone else's money in the form of rent is paying down this debt. It's appreciating as an asset for you. And as the debt pays down and it appreciates, then you're gaining more and more equity, which gives you options in the future. And so the agent serving you, the truth is that just like some buyers who are in the market, taking opportunity, seizing opportunity, maybe getting those deals, or the sellers who are getting their home tip-top shape, putting it on the market and experiencing multiple offers, it's just the same in the agent world. If your real estate agent is out there working for you, being honest, not looking for that next transaction, but looking to serve you and build your wealth over time as an advisor to you through real estate, those are the ones that are absolutely winning, right? I've sold 20 homes this year. A lot of agents have sold 0, right? I'm pretty bullish on the market. I believe so wholeheartedly in real estate, but I've also told people not to sell. In fact, I had a listing the other day where somebody had a life event where, they decided to go a different direction than their partner. Their house was on the market. I was downright giddy to take that thing off the market, right? Because I felt the tension in the room with that couple, and I felt like it was a much better opportunity for this seller to keep her home and, better life, right? Because she was able to separate from that and she still had the home, and I was so grateful that it actually had fallen out of contract, so she had that option, right? And I gladly was like, boom, let's get the sign out. This is where you're supposed to be. This is your home, and this is what you've worked so hard for. Enjoy it. Let's remove the stress from your life. You've worked so hard for it. So that's where my heart is. My heart is to make people happy, to help, to serve people. And sometimes that doesn't mean selling a house. It doesn't mean another transaction for me. And, marketing budget out the window. I don't care. $400, $500, $600 in pictures and marketing. I was more than happy because that was an option for my seller to make that happen. And that, I think that serves me, right? It's almost like the good karma. If it's right, let's put your house on the market. If it's right time to get into home ownership, let's get in, right? I would argue with most people who are like, I'm gonna rent and wait for the market. That doesn't mean that you're educating yourself on understanding what's going on. Because if you're worried about paying a 7% interest rate, but you're sticking to renting, you're paying 100% interest rate, and don't bring the, if my furnace goes out, my landlord pays for it. Yeah, they stroke the check, but your money that you pay them every month over what they owe on the property is going towards that furnace. So you're technically buying them a furnace as well as paying down their debt. So, that's the big piece of home ownership, and that's where we're at. And the truth is, the agents that have been living off the market or living off internet leads and not serving their sphere are struggling right now. And the agents that, are on the internet game and, paying for the leads, as long as they're up to date on the market and doing that and serving, they're absolutely crushing. There's black and white right now. Just like sellers and buyers, like I said earlier, who are seizing the opportunity, there's agents that are seizing the opportunity. Just like there's buyers sitting on the sideline waiting, there's agents sitting on the sideline. And so when you go to have representation and someone to sell your home or buy your home, don't call your best friend if they're inactive, if they're negative on the market, if they're not in it every single day fighting so that they can understand how to best serve you. You're gonna lose money in that transaction, right? You're not gonna be the house that goes on the market for, a fair list price and gets above asking offers. Just as likely, good agents right now, as days on market kind of creep up a little bit, and we're not seeing, one weekend transactions as much unless it's stage perfect and completely updated. When you have a unique property, you need to know that just lowering the price and lowering the price and lowering the price is not serving you. I've had 2 listings that have been super unique. They've been on the market for a little bit of time. And I said, hey, I don't think we want to lower the price. I still believe that I can get an appraisal at our list price. What happens? As you go, day 203 on one listing that had been under contract, and we kind of held our ground. I got two offers on one listing, day 203, and we got very close to our asking price, where, they're like, well, should we lower it? We don't want to lower it that low. I'm like, well, just hold on, right? Wait for the market to come to us. Understand that, I wasn't just saying that to keep the listing. I was saying that because I knew wholeheartedly that I could get it appraised, and I did get it appraised at that price, day 203, 2 offers, right? So it's not always just put it on the market, market it right, whatever, it sells right away. Sometimes it's a unique property, and sometimes you need the right buyer, and sometimes time is your friend. So make sure that your agent understands that, because we don't want to just go in there, have them price it. Oh, we priced it too high, lower it. The classic, oh, I'll agree to list your house at this price, but I know it's not worth it. But 2 weeks later, we lower it. You have to promise to do that. Don't sign any blank checks. Let's look at the marketing plan. Let's find the buyers. At the end of the day, pricing the home right is absolutely key, to a quick sale. But sometimes the uniqueness of the property outweighs pricing it absolutely 100% correct, and having a little bit of patience will go a long way. So take that into consideration when you're hiring an agent and you're asking people questions. I'm more than happy to talk to you anytime about the market and see what makes sense for you. As discussed, check that Calendly link below. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, again, back to the micro, like I talked about, obviously we're going to see a recession. The truth is that we don't like to, wish pain upon anyone or whatever, but a recession is what we need. A little drawback in the spending habits, a little bit of pullback, and that will help the housing market, right? We're not wishing for lost jobs. We're not wishing for any of the things that do come along with the recession, but the way the economy flows, a recession will then, bring our interest rates back down, and that will bring buyers to the market. Now, be careful what you wish for, because when buyers come to the market, again, those prices are going to go up, and we're still going to have trouble because we're not going back down below 3 or 4, to really spur up a ton of people to be like, oh, let's move up, let's move, right? But when you're at 7.5 and you see a 6.5 interest rate, and you look at how that affects your monthly payment, $150, $200 a month, you're like, okay, boom, let's go, I'm good with it, right? People aren't waiting for it to, hit the floor again. People aren't timing it for the floor, because no one is predicting that it's going to hit the floor ever again. And hopefully it doesn't go that low. And so you have to think about this as a recession comes and those interest rates kind of level out. We're going to see a lot more buyers in the market. We're not going to have inventory. That's when those appreciation gains are going to come. So those buyers that are getting in now, basically in this little lull period, there's still multiple offers, whatever, because there's less buyers. You're taking that 7.5, 7% interest rate, whatever it is, they're going to get in the market, but they're going to be in their homes. They're going to be gifted that appreciation when those interest rates do tick down. Buyers flood the market, inventory is still low, and they're going to see home values rise in that time frame. And that's the people that are going to benefit from it, right? Because they took that a little higher interest rate, got into something, maybe found a deal, and the people that are going to suffer from it are the ones on the sidelines, because the interest rates aren't coming way down. And when they do come down a little bit, there's going to be an influx and prices are going to go up. I think I've said that about 4 times in this market update. So kind of tune into that, make sure that you are making the right decision. And it might not be the decision right now to get in the market, but let's have a conversation. Let's look at the projections. Let's see what it means. If you're able to get in the housing market, ownership is always better than renting. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care if it's June 2023 or June 2030. That's what I'm going to be saying. And I'm here to help and advise and be by your side through it all. Understand what the market is, understand what's going on. 2 years down the road, you call me up, or we're talking at your annual review that I offer all of my clients, and I say, hey, how we doing? Whatever. Oh, you're having a tough time. Like, let's look at the options here. Is it better to get out now? Is it better to cash out, sit on the sidelines for a little bit? If it is, I will tell you. If it's not, I'll say stay put, pay your mortgage, and let's keep talking next year. So hope that helps. June 2023, the thing I love about real estate is it's always different. These markets are absolutely entertaining and educational for me, and I can't wait to serve you. As always, Jeremy Kane, living in the Denver suburbs. June 2023 market update for Denver and the suburbs. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time. And hopefully stay cool out there and we see a little less rain than we're seeing right now. Bye-bye.